we're, I guess, surrounded all over the county, maybe the country. Pat Henderson, would you lead us, not lead us, Pat Henderson, would you say the Pledge of Allegiance?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, as much as I like seeing everybody's smiling faces, we've been having some bandwidth problems. So if you're not addressing the commission, it's not your turn yet. If you turn off your video, that would be really cool. Thank you. Okay, moving right along. Is there any public comment? Everybody a chance, there's actually 2 sets of minutes. So to have a motion to approve, we're going to approve the minutes of 5/19, which is our regular meeting. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes? You're not on, Eric.
You're muted, Eric. You're muted.
Sorry. I'll make a motion to accept as written.
Is the mission, okay,
I'll
second?
second that, Mr. Chairman.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
I'll second it.
All in favor, signify by saying aye. Passes 3-0. Now the minutes of the special meeting of 5/19. I have a motion to approve those minutes.
That's 5/21.
5/21, I'm sorry, Eric. Thank you for keeping me on my toes. I have a motion.
I so move, Mr. Chairman. I so move.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Passes 3-0. Commissioner comments and committee reports.
I have none.
I have none, Mr. Chairman.
There was some conversation this morning about our joint meeting with to discuss the budgets for joint communication and solid waste. I did text Becky, and she said she's out of town until Sunday. So evidently next week she'll get around to it. So I think she's going to see her family or something. Okay.
She was on here. He was on here
No.
earlier, Mr. Chairman.
That's a different Becky.
Becky Berger.
Oh, okay.
Becky Parsons with Extension
Okay.
Agency. Excuse me.
Okay. We have the EMS commission report. The EMS report for the commission. You know, I'm always impressed at just how good a job these guys do, and the response times. And you know, I guess this month of April there's 100 responses inside the city of Atchison, and the other 29 were outside the city. Amazing what they do. They have good response times. Anytime we get a chance to thank them, we should be thanking them. So I haven't seen them for a while because they don't go to the meetings because of the pandemic. So okay, I got the first thing on my business before the board is I have a purchase order to renew a licensing agreement with Converge One for $6,258.90. The chair would entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I assume you're ready to vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Passes 3-0. Okay, Jim Rowland, you're on next. You can show your face now. There you go. We weren't trying to shut you out, but
yeah. After the Globe took my picture from a Zoom camera the last time, I'm not sure I want to show my face. I need a slimming filter for this call. So
I'm sure they're available. I like
Yeah.
it too. Let me know when you find it.
Exactly. Mr. Chairman and members of the commission, good to see you again. Certainly here on behalf of the Atchison Area Chamber of Commerce. I submitted to you a great deal of paperwork. I would preface all of the conversation with the fact that, you know, we're certainly transitioning, and we are going to take a significant hit on the city side from a tourism standpoint. We are, our funding is a function of the transit guest tax, as you know. Last year, that was $190,000. The city also kicked in $30,000 out of the general fund, so it was a total of $220,000. We're anticipating, at least in the short run, that being halved and no general fund support. So tourism for us is going to look significantly different than it did in the past. So we are working feverishly to become significantly more efficient from an operational standpoint. We're investing in some technology upgrades to our back end so that we can do things online and more efficiently. We have gone to as you may have seen, gone to a e-gift card called Locally Atchison that we'll be able to do all online. So we are making significant strides and significant changes, but with the same goal of increasing tourism for Atchison.
Yeah, there's no doubt that this is a big change, isn't it? People will still come out and come up here, but I don't think you can have a real reduction in people stay at hotels and guest tax. I don't have any questions.
Our anecdotal information coming from the hotels is a massive shortfall in their business. Now it hopefully will pick up, but as you all know, a function of that will be whether or not Benedictine students come back to campus, whether sports are playing. That will have a definitive impact on the guest tax.
You're the same. Everybody has the same problem.
Exactly.
We just don't know. We don't know what's going to happen.
Absolutely.
It's scary.
Yeah, I've said to a lot of people in my other lives that the only thing that we know for certain right now is uncertainty.
Did I hear that the trolley service is no longer going to be utilized?
We don't know yet. Right now, it's not being obvious for obvious reasons. We're certainly trying to get it online for the haunted season, but we do have some pure financial issues that we'll have to get through. We have a trolley that is in desperate need of more repairs. So it will come down. Right now I'm budgeting in 3-month increments simply because we don't know what, I think it'll be okay in the third quarter. I'm not sure about the fourth quarter. So we're really on a 3-month by 3-month basis right now. The unknown for us is I just don't know what that guest tax is going to look like. And Becky has no idea either. So we are really flying blind right now. And
I think that's
a dangerous thing for any of us as a leader of an organization to do. So we're being pretty conservative right now, Commissioner.
okay. I have no further questions.
Hey, Jim, we wish you well. Thank you for appearing. We'll certainly take your amount into consideration.
I appreciate that. Thank you all.
Thank you very much. Okay, next is Jackie Perjot, Millionaire Heart Festival 2021.
I'm back.
Yep.
Hello.
I'm sorry to shut your face off, but
Oh, that's okay.
most of us want our face out here in public anyway. So,
Yeah, that's okay. You got a new face there.
well, whatever. Yeah.
Well, hopefully you got my information. And obviously you're all aware that we are not doing the festival this summer. It was a really, really difficult decision to make, especially considering what we know that does for the community. But we just really felt like it was the right thing to do. And, you know, first concern has to be with health and welfare of the community, as well as the people that come. So I have already started working actually on 2021 so that hopefully we'll be raring to go with something even bigger and better. So I think you got the information for 2021. And I had said to Michelle earlier that we had already gotten your 7,500 for this year. So if you want that returned, if you want that to count for next year, I know that you all are dealing with budget constraints as well. What we're doing is most of the sponsorships that had come in early have all said that they're fine if we keep those. So Karen and I are going to try to spend this summer getting the overlook out at Warnock, the overlook for the Amelia Earhart earthwork redone. It's in pretty bad shape, and this will give us a chance to maybe do that. So that's our plan for what we're doing now. Going forward next year, again, God, I hope everything is okay, and that by that time we can plan something of this size and that everything will work.
We just don't know, do we?
No, we just don't. But we're hopeful. And again, I'm planning. I've got Lake Fest stuff going already. I've got authors already. So we'll just hope and pray that it works.
So Jackie, I took a drive out to Warnock and looked at that earthworks, I guess, or sculpture. You have to have quite an imagination to really see its original intent. I mean, there's a little bit there, but it's tough. So what does that cost to redo something like that?
You know, I'm not sure what what we want to redo is the overlook so that people can actually look down and see it. And it needs, we think it needs to be raised up. It needs to be a little higher so you can actually get an overview. And I'm not sure how much Urbans have done to that this spring to get it ready, because every year she kind of gets a little bit of a facelift. So I'm not sure what they've gotten done yet this year, but that's all taken care of by us as well, as far as the cost and everything. So
you're talking about a new overlook, not a new.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, I misunderstood what you said.
Yeah. No, we're talking about a new overlook so that people can actually have it. It's really in pretty bad shape. It's been there a long time. I know Karen even talked about we'd like to put the pictures back that will show kind of the process and how it was done and everything. Stan was here. I'm trying to think, probably now it's probably been 5, 6, 7 years ago, and kind of did a little bit of a facelift to Amelia, replaced some of her skin was getting a little bad, and he replaced some of the rocks in her skin, in her face and stuff like that. But this project primarily would be the overlook.
Okay, any questions from the commissioners?
No, I don't have any.
I don't have any.
Okay, Jackie, we'll consider your request.
Okay.
This is going to be a tough year to call everything, so.
Absolutely, and I totally understand. So thanks for the opportunity. You guys, everybody stay well.
Okay,
You too.
Thank you.
Okay, Terry, and I'm going to butcher your last name. Terry, can you appear and tell us what your last name is? I don't want to say it wrong. I'm sorry, Teresa. You get your first name wrong. Teresa, do you hear me?
Hi, yes, I'm Teresa Benitez,
Okay.
and I'm with Happy Hearts, and we are doing some things different right now. We are providing services online through Zoom, teaching our students that way, but we are still providing the same educational services. We're just doing it over Zoom and through technology-based classes such as IXL and Khan Academy. We are thinking that our enrollment is probably going to increase because historically our enrollment has increased when unemployment has increased. Whether that happens, well, I guess we'll know for sure. We collaborate with Highland Technical College to provide the adult education program, GED, and we provide family literacy services. Right now, we are not expending any funds for childcare because the parents are home with their children, but that has been a major source of our outlay in the past. We're not requesting an increase. We're just hoping to maintain our contribution level.
How much
All
was
of
the-
our, I'm sorry,
How much was the contribution level?
3,000. That's typically what we receive.
That was blank on our sheet. Did you get your appropriation
I
last year?
don't believe we've received that this year. We normally receive it in January or February, but I don't believe we've received that this year. But we have received it every year for several years going backward.
Do you think they appeared last year and asked for the money? Teresa?
I think that was one that didn't appear and maybe got left out.
I don't recall.
Okay.
How long have you been with this group,
I
Teresa?
have-
Because I don't remember seeing you before.
I have been into the meetings before, but I've been with Happy Hearts since 2013. I've been in my current role since 2015.
Okay. Maybe it's just me.
I, for one, really believe that adult literacy is so important for the well-being of a community. So that's my favorite thing. So you guys do provide that.
Yes, and it's becoming increasingly difficult to become employed if you don't have a high school diploma. So, and for me, it's a personal experience. My mother, my grandmother both went through Happy Hearts, and that's the main reason I work there, because it's important to me.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. We'll take it under consideration, Teresa.
Thank you.
You have a good day. Thanks for what you do for
You
the
too.
community.
Thank you.
Okay, Ray Ladd, you're up.
Okay. Unmuting and showing, I believe. Joined on the extension, Diane Nielsen is by phone and on her computer. And Becky Parsons, our board chair, will have input. And I believe Larry Littner, another board member, is also listening in just as far as the representation for the presentation, which there again, in the world of Zooming, many things we can't share, can't show, but extension, we are doing the best we can for the situation is for COVID. There again, Diane can inject a little bit as far as just the outreach we've had with Facebook when we can't be out doing face-to-face. But the request that the 9-member extension board worked on, and hopefully you received that in your packet, that would be for them looking at the past expenses and then putting in those expenses in a budget request, which would be very, very similar to what 2020 request was, and following that up into 21. Becky, if you want to get ready to give input, I don't want to do all the talking, but just soon have the board leadership certainly give input. Becky,
Thank you, commissioners, for having us. I'm Becky Parsons. I'm the current Extension Board President. And so I just wanted to join you today and let you know why we're asking for the increases we are. So one of the things is that we just have to start meeting our basic operating needs, especially as we move forward and look forward to our future. You have received our attachments and can read those and see where we're want to increase some of our things are just to our operating needs to keep our doors open in order to provide the community with services that they are asking for. Also, we need to increase our technology. Of course, when COVID hit, we as an extension office have very limited and dated technology. And so we need to update that as well to keep up with the changing of times. We asked for increase of programming costs. Of course, food is going to increase. There are many unexpected expenses that have come with COVID and many more people experiencing hardships. And so Extension will be able to provide some programming to provide budgeting and some healthy food choices and how to prepare food on a low budget that would benefit the community overall. And then, of course, we want to be able to increase our salary and benefits. A lot of these increases we've been lucky. Managed to have quality staff without an increase in salaries consistently over the years. And we are unable really to send our agents to educational training, but they still provide good quality and do the community surveys. And so they're able to provide that quality programming when we need. We now have an office professional, which has helped. We didn't in the past, which has helped balance our budget in the past. But now that we have that office professional that does a good job, we'd like to be able to maintain her. But we're not sure about that as moving forward. Raises aren't really in our future. The other reason why this is important is because we have started conversations with Donovan County and Brown County about districting, and the budget that you approve for us to have when we move forward, that will be the first budget of our starting year, which also makes us attractive to the counties if we have some money that we actually can sustain ourselves. So we're looking at this from several different angles and really put some consideration into this increase. We need to, like I said, we did start those districting conversations, and when we need to be able to sell ourselves. And so to have a good budget is a good selling point. So I hope that you will take all of that into consideration. Larry, is there anything you would like to add?
Yes, I don't know if I'm coming across on video or not. It doesn't look like it, but I do support what you just said and appreciate your working on this. I know this is a very difficult year to budget anything. We do that in all of our areas of expertise, but the area that is concerning me more and more all along too is the trusted and the reliable information and programming that we're able to provide to our citizens in our Atchison County is going to be jeopardized more and more as we struggle to be able to even meet operating costs. And so we're going to have to eventually look at something to supplement that. And a couple of key areas, we talked about adult literacy. We focus very heavily on childhood literacy, early childhood. And that's something that's very important, I think, to me anyway. I think the only way to change the future of some people's lives that need to be changed in a more positive way is to get the very young people to be able to be literate, to encourage their parents to help educate them. And that's even more now as COVID is putting more of the education back in the home. And I support that, but there's people who need help with that. And that's just one big key area that Extension Office helps to support that effort and those parents and those children. So that plus all the others, I think, are things we want to continue to offer, but if possible, improve on and expand into other citizens in the county that are not being met with their needs. And of course, we've had a much more added to it with this COVID issue. So I, again, with Becky and Ray, appreciate your consideration. We know you're in a tough situation. I wouldn't want your job right now on budgeting, but take a look at what we can do, and we certainly would appreciate your consideration. Thank you.
Any questions for the commissioners?
I guess I look at this as the extension is the purveyors of knowledge and the distributing knowledge or to the county citizens. And right now you're competing with Google. Any of this information can be resourced online, and now we're teaching kids from home via computer, and why can't we do more of that? I don't believe that we'll probably get into a situation where we'll actually district. The information on here says that we were approached in 2018 for districting, which was before my time, so it was 2014 or earlier, and it hasn't happened. So I don't have any expectation that we will get districting. And I think that the basic format's going to have to change. I think that we're going to have to go to a more technology-based distribution of knowledge.
Yes, I can agree with you. And our technology base right now, our equipment doesn't allow for some of that we need to. So we need to upgrade our computers as well and get the technology moving forward. As for districting, in the past, we were approached by Leavenworth County, and in the end, that did not work out for us. So now we're moving forward to approach Brown and Donovan, because we know that districting is important and we do want to move forward with that as much as possible. So we've decided to go another avenue since it didn't work out with Leavenworth in the past.
Yes, but that was in 14. That's been 6 years ago without any movement. That since we were approached by Leavenworth, because it predated me. This was ongoing when I became a commissioner. Yeah. So, I mean, if history has anything to say about it, it hasn't been taken seriously. So I really don't look for that to happen. Also, if you were the technology-based education, why wouldn't that come directly from Manhattan? Why would that need to be sent to the county and then sent to the county residents? Why couldn't that be based out of Manhattan? When you Google, you don't Google someone in Atchison County and have them distribute the information. It comes directly from the source. So I mean, you could get rid of building or car, technology. I mean, there's a lot of things that if it's coming directly from Manhattan, that there would be a lot of expenses not needing to be taken care of.
To inject on that, Eric, as far as, yes, Manhattan does supply lots of resources, but in the extension methodology, there is great value in having local representation with agents, with the boards. So while we do receive lots of information from K-State, then we sort through some of that is applicable for Northeast Kansas, whether it be for families, for agriculture, for 4-H and youth. So we are trying to localize and to identify those local programs that the board, our advisories feel are most important. And then to back up on districting, yes, it's not progressed and it's step forwards and sometimes step back. So it's a matching interest, doing that, getting to know each other, knowing programs, getting some comfort level in some of that too. So hopefully as we continue to look to the future that, yes, hopefully districting comes together smoothly and it's not one step forwards and 2 steps back, but that's history and we're trying to look to the future. And yes, you're right, technology is part of that. And while K-State is providing much, we in the county have to get the basic equipment to be able to share that. That's where we're just drastically behind on the level of technology we have. So that's what we're trying to work on, yes.
I'm just going to say, I'm going to speak to Facebook as well.
Well, I would tell you that one thing I'm really impressed by, the way you presented your numbers was really easy to understand. I'd like to see everybody present them in a similar format.
Thank you.
Right up front, I can see what you want. So I don't have to search for it or anything else. The second thing is, me as a commissioner, I support districting. And I know you guys have been working on it. But I think Eric is telling you that he's not convinced that we're moving fast enough. And I think that's what I took out of his comments. I don't think he's against that. I think he's 100% for it. And maybe some functions could be handled in a different way. So we certainly will take your numbers and advisement, but I don't think you can count on us coming up with that type of increase, or we're going to be squeezing everybody else. That's just my opinion. So, there's a guy that I used to know called Sam Walton, and Sam said, you make your worst decisions in the best of times. And you make your best decisions in the worst of times. Sorry. You make your worst decisions in the best of times. And you make your best decisions in the worst of times. So when things get tough, you start making decisions that really make a lot of sense. So it's something to be thinking about. So
Can I pause you for a minute there?
sure.
If Diane would talk, I want to make sure she's connected to you verbally.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear her?
No.
Okay, hold on a second. That's what I was feeling. You're not her.
Ray, if you have two, it looks like maybe you have 3 devices on in the same office.
What do you say?
We probably do because my computer does not, I have to connect my phone, but that did not work today. But I want to go back for a minute and address you in regard to technology and why local is important. So the office had a Facebook page before COVID, and we probably did not use it to the extent that we could have. But in the last 6 weeks, we've grown that from about 250 to close to 1,200 now. But the theme that I'm really picking up is because they know Ray Ladd, because they know Diane Nielsen, there is a trust in information, there's a trust in extension. And so it's that local citizens wanting for information to trust, where you can really go out COVID-19 right now and it'll tell you face masks, we should be doing all kinds of things of disinfecting it, when I can say to you, wash them with soap and water, and that's effective. We had people who wanted to wash their foods with soap and water. They could actually, or I had people call me who were disinfecting their foods with Lysol. That could cause chemical death, really. So there's a role, I think, locally, that if we go to a statewide organization, you're just going to lose out on that.
She wasn't really ready for me to put the camera in her face there. But any other questions?
I don't believe so. I think we have all the information we need. And if we need anything else, we'll contact back with you guys.
Yeah, do that. Yeah, do that. Yes.
And thanks for everything you do for Atchison County. And thanks for all the things people who serve on the board do to make it a better and more efficient organization. So that would be all we'd have today.
Okay, thank you.
There's a letter of support. I don't actually have the letter in front of me. Did you guys look at the letter?
I just now received it.
Okay.
Shall I read it?
Yeah, that'd be great. And this is for Mocan?
I haven't got that far yet.
Okay. Okay.
To the Honorable Elaine Chow, Office of the Secretary of Transportation, 1200 New Jersey Avenue, Washington, D.C. Dear Secretary Chow, Atchison County is writing this letter in support of Buchanan County's build planning grant applications for engineering and design costs for Highway 59. This section of road had lengthy closures that caused severe economic disruption for our businesses and hardship for our residents. To redesign the roadway to include flood resiliency would be welcome improvement to the region's transportation system. With Atchison County sitting on the west side of this stretch of road, a large part of traffic runs there on a daily basis to commute to and from work, as well as personal reasons. With closures and delays common through the summer's months when high waters, these travels are extended and puts them at risk. Our citizens are faced with higher costs when having to travel alternate routes due to closures. This project would be of great benefits to all citizens both on Atchison and Missouri sides. Once again, Atchison County strongly supports the project. Therefore, this would support the build planning grant for engineering and design work to get this off the ground. Please feel free to contact us if you have any information. Jack Bauer, Chairman.
I'll tell you what, I think that's what I'm for. You guys want to send a letter of support?
I was just looking at it. I thought maybe it was a typo in this. Yeah,
Well, we
I
know
really
that
I haven't had any information of what the scope of the project is. You know, how, you know, they talking how many $1 million to redo it, or are they talking 250,000 or?
well, you know, if you drive down Highway 36, you know, past Lathina, you notice that the road is raised. So,
Yeah.
so I think that's what they're talking about here. Getting the roads raised high enough that we don't have flooding over the road, even if we do have a flood event.
Is this just the engineering to determine what will need to be done?
As far as I know, Eric, I think
The way I'm reading it,
they applied
that's
for
where I'm, you know, they said for the, let's see, I was trying to read through there. For the design, engineering design costs. So I think this would just be the first step in figuring out what they're needing to do. And I think it's probably well worth our letter of support to see if they can help the situation.
Okay, so the chair would entertain a motion.
I have a little insight on this. Most people think that they're going to raise the whole highway 3 feet, 5 feet, or whatever, and that's not the case. What they're going to do is there's two places where the water goes over the highway. They're going to build like a 1.5 2-block bridge over those two places, and that is going to ruin that ground south of there. If you go over there now, you can see that there's already a channel being cut down through there, and this is going to create a big problem for the landowners down south of that road. Now, if they raise the whole road, that's a different story. But basically what they're going to do, they're going to funnel that in those two locations where it's been going over with just a long bridge.
Well, but so the water's been already traveling there on its own. So it really won't change the trajectory of the water if they just raise it up. The water's already traveling there. If it's where it's been going over for in those 1 or 2 spots, I don't see the difference.
Well, Derek, I think Bill's point is it probably would flow more freely if it was designed to flow under it. But the point is there needs to be, and this is engineering and design, somebody has to figure out what's the right thing to do. And that's where I feel like I'm supporting, is them figuring out what they need to do. The project isn't that far along, so.
A lot of the ground on the north side of that had been kind of taken up by the Corps, or, you know, the flooded, some of those floodplains are, I don't know if it's Corps of Engineers, but seem like the government has stepped in on some of that already, but I'm for it.
So I'm going to ask for a motion to approve a letter of support for the MoCan 59 road project.
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
Before I would make a second, I would like to have more details, so I will not make the second.
Okay, I will just second it for discussion purposes. And because I think we need to discuss this a little further. And the main thing is we're not approving a design, we're approving somebody coming up with the idea of fixing this. So I think the devil's in the details. Of course, it's a Missouri project, so this might be our only one time to say anything. But
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that. And this is just the preemptive to see if there's anything they can do or what the cost would be. And maybe part of that engineering is to see if they can do something else with the water once it's on the inside. Maybe they can take it to a different area that can funnel down in there. I don't know what's possible. I don't even know where a person, without having to go through Department of Transportation, you know, where you would get information to preempt this, it'd be quite a, evidently there isn't the information. That's what they're asking for.
Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, I assume you're ready to vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All in favor, all against signify by saying aye.
I'll also abstain from voting.
Okay, so it passes 2-0, 1 abstention. Okay, moving right along. No other finished business before the board. I don't believe we have any. Do we have any that anybody knows of?
We got, well, that's executive session, I believe.
Yeah, but we're gonna go down to county councilor updates. Do you have anything, Pat?
I do not.
Okay. Any need for an executive session?
I believe there is. Pat, which one are we doing first?
Well, Jamie's on, so we might do with Jamie first.
Okay, that would be the personnel.
Right.
Are we ready for the motion?
Yeah.
I'll move that the Board of County Commissioners recess into executive session at 1:40 p.m. to discuss personal matters of non-elected personnel as allowed by K.S.A. 75-4319B1. The executive session will be conducted in a breakout room using the Zoom platform. The purpose of the closed session is to protect the privacy rights of the employee. The board will come out of executive session at 1:55 p.m. either on the Zoom platform or in the commission room, first floor courthouse, in open session, and those present will be the county commissioners, County Councilor Pat Henderson, and Jamie Madison, HR Director.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion, Mr.
All in
Chairman.
favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, passes 3-0. Can someone put us in the Zoom room? Is that Michelle that does that?
The Zoom room?
The Zoom room. Michelle, are you there? Oh, there we are.
There we go.
Thank you.
I think Michelle's going to redo it to send us for a longer time.
It's not just me. I mean, I don't know what happened. It just went black. So
Yeah, I don't think the time got set right the first time.
No, I made the room wrong and I sent everybody to it. I don't need everybody sent to it, so I'm trying to refix another room.
Thank you, Michelle.
Mhm.
Jamie, did your dad get any planting done?
Yeah, they've just got a little bit left of beans to do. We'll
For the
see.
first time?
Yeah, we'll see. Because all these waterways around here are pretty full.
I think you guys had more at Lancaster than we did here yesterday, because I went to Atchison yesterday. They got pounded in Atchison, and when I got home, I was pleased we didn't have as much, but
Really
I
spotty.
yeah, well, had
Go in
75
now.
acres. I think I'm going to end up having to replant them.
Mm. Set an alarm for 1:54.
I've set an alarm for 1:54 p.m.
Hi,
Hello?
how are you?
Well, the commission, is it over? Or are they still in the meeting?
Executive session?
Because I think I need to talk with them and the health officer before they adjourn.
Oh, why?
But it needs to be an executive session.
Well, that'll be the third one probably today.
So don't let them adjourn.
Okay.
Maybe I
Okay.
should call Pat and ask him how to do it.
Yeah, either, yeah, Pat or Jack. I think they're in an executive session about Joe.
Okay. Then they have a couple more after that.
They have at least one more about that, and I think it's something that Pat did, and I can't remember what he said it was. But it's attorney-client.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna try and call Pat real fast, but don't let them adjourn until I talk to him.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay. You might even
Thank
want to,
you.
you might even want to
Text that to Jack.
text Jack. Yep. Okay.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Bye. Set a timer for 2 minutes.
Okay, 2 minutes.
Everyone's muted.
Okay.
On the second executive session, I received a text message from Mr. Lanter that there's a attorney-client matter that he is involved with as well that I think we need to discuss today. So if there is a motion for an executive session, you might want to add 15 minutes on and include him for that meeting, part of that session.
Would that be attorney-client privilege? Would that be for a different, so do we need to do different ones?
It would be, you could do it either way. You could discuss both matters in one, or you could have two separate sessions, whichever you wanted to do.
I'll let the Bill.
Let's just have
One
one.
session.
One
How would I
executive
work that
session.
then, Pat?
Just add 15 minutes to the.
So we want to go 30 minutes on the second set of, on the second executive session. Okay, I'll move that the Board of County Commissioners recess into executive session at 1:57 p.m. for consultation with an attorney for the board, Pat Henderson, County Councilor, which consultation would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship, and that the executive session is necessary to protect the attorney-client privilege. The executive session will be conducted in a breakout room using the Zoom platform. The board will come out of executive session at 2:27 p.m. either on Zoom platform or in the commission room, first floor courthouse, in the open session, and those present will be the county commissioners and Pat Henderson, County Councilor. Is there anyone else? Would that be Westlander?
Yes,
And is that it?
I think that's all. Yes.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
Wait a second.
I'll second that, Mr. Chairman.
All in favor, signify by
I'll
saying
second it.
aye. Aye. Just raise your hand. Okay, Jamie, can you send us to the other side of the moon?
I think I need Wes on to
Okay.
send him.
Should we wait for Wes? Did someone text Wes or?
I did text him and he's said he's getting on. Said okay.
Okay, let me start the room then.
Whatever, so.
You should be going now.
We're back in open session. I'd like to call a recess till 4 o'clock. Does anybody have a problem with that? We got some things going on here. That doesn't require a motion, does it, Pat? Just a recess?
It does not, but you just make it clear that you will reconvene here at 4 o'clock and may take action at that time.
Okay. Okay, so we can see everybody at 4 o'clock. It'll be the same meeting ID, if I understand. So if you just stay on, you can, you would be in the meeting at 4 o'clock when we start. So that's an hour and 32 minutes from now. So I will see you guys at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're supposed to move into open session at 4 o'clock, so it's pretty close. I wanted to share with everybody that I heard from Connie Ellerman today. In our sales tax collections, were about $190,000. In 2019, they were $145,000. In 2018, they were $142,000. Connie said this is the highest she's ever seen. So you stop my video? Hello? Who's in charge of the video? Anybody hear me?
Yeah.
My video won't work. It said it's been shut off by the,
Your picture broke the camera.
I guess. I got to start my video. Okay, so.
Yeah, mine's still driving. I'm gonna have a better computer.
Did you hear what I said about sales tax?
Yes, sure did. Here you are.
Okay, somebody decided to let me in. Thank you very much, whoever it is. Do we need to move into executive session?
Yeah, I don't think so. Just to update, Governor Kelly had not yet issued an administrative order or an executive order, but she did indicate that she did not intend to sign the bill that had been approved by the legislature, and as a result of that, her executive order will expire at midnight tonight, and at that time will become a recommendation to citizens of the state of Kansas on how to conduct themselves. So,
Can I ask one question? Everybody is, or this is probably for Wes or Lauren. We currently have a phase 2 declaration in place. When does that end?
The declaration ends.
Midnight tonight, wouldn't it?
We have a county declaration that we signed last Friday. So 30 days from then, I need to look.
No, I'm talking about the phase 2. Emergency order of local public works officials 2020-04.
So that would be valid without the governor's?
Well, I'm just asking, when was it intended to end?
June 5th.
You know, my humble recommendation would be to consider keeping this in place, the phase 2. But that's just my opinion. So.
Our current order only addresses a few options because we're relying on the governor's order to for most of it, so that it's only comments on a few sections of what the governor's order was.
Okay.
We can leave it in place, but it's going to, anything that's not spelled out in our order has no restrictions.
Okay, well, this is time delayed. Leadership sometimes is not long in place. What do you guys recommend?
Well, I can tell you what the governor recommended. I just watched her, and she basically put it back onto the local county officials to, in every county in Kansas, to do what they think is right to help maintain the spread of the virus. And so she basically said that her plan was, what was the word she used? Like, not a required, but that was like, what we should do.
Suggest.
It's suggested, recommended. But in order to, it's not an order. And so we would have to, as a county, if we wanted to follow that plan, we'd have to do it locally. Correct, Russ?
Yes.
So, I mean, I'm just looking like section 3, further sets herein all public gatherings of more than 15 are prohibited. Do we want to continue with that? Do you go through them one by one, or?
Well, we're actually on phase 2 now.
That is phase 2. I'm reading it off phase 2.
On the order or the plan?
This is
Plan.
the emergency order of local health officials 2020-04. I pulled it off our website, so that must be the current.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. It's in my opinion, at the very least, and this is just it's a medical opinion. It's not political. It's not anything else. At the very least, we need to follow her Ad Astra plan.
Phase 2.
Yeah, through the rest of her plan. I think we need to follow it through. That's my medical opinion.
Wes, what's your opinion?
I would agree. I think that our county needs to follow the rest of the phase 2 and then phase out plan that the governor set forth. I would like to see us type up a resolution from the county commission that is exactly how her plan is, and follow the dates is what I think we should do.
Even though that would open us up to possible lawsuits?
That's my opinion, yes.
Medically, yes, it is my opinion.
Do orders stop bad behavior?
Nothing stops bad behavior. Orders are there as guidelines for people to follow. And some people choose to follow them and some people choose not to.
So can we issue guidelines without having an order?
I think that you have people who are rule breakers and you have people who are rule followers, and then you have people who tell me what to do. And if you just give a general statement, as this is what we suggest, then those people in the middle are on the fence. And I think right now, I think the whole county would appreciate some guidance, not just a free-for-all.
And if you open it up and don't do guideline or don't do an order, then it's going to be a free-for-all. And that means that the shelter at home that we did and all the steps that we've taken from the beginning up to this point will just be thrown out the window.
I think public has been educated a lot on what steps to follow, and there's people that are taking it even to more extreme than what has been suggested. I mean, almost to the point of becoming a recluse, just because they're afraid, and that's fine. I mean, they can do that if they choose, but how many rule breakers have been prosecuted or in our county, given tickets or fined?
I don't think anybody, but that would not be my responsibility. That would be the law enforcement.
I do know that for a fact that law enforcement has arrived at establishments and explained the rules to them. That I do know. All right, so I don't think they fined them. They asked them to cooperate, and they did.
Correct.
Our local law enforcement has been to many different establishments and or other get-togethers to explain the situation, and people have always complied. So how would you guys like us to proceed?
I would support anything you guys decide, and that's going to be pushing it off. I like this phase two. The only thing that I could see in phase two, we have a lot of culture in this community at the Elks Club, the BFW. It's my only knowledge of bars. I don't know if we have any other bars other than those two. Do we, or?
I think those are the only two that don't serve food.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that we go a long ways in our community by asking them if they open to follow X rules, whatever those are. Because a country club can't open, they don't have a bar, but they feel like they shouldn't open until, they kind of feel like when clubs are okay, they're okay. So, that's the only thing I see loosening up. The churches already can have service, right? The social distancing.
The only restriction on churches is social distancing. So if they go sit in church with their family, no other family should be within 6 foot of that family. So that's the only restriction on churches.
I don't want to lose track that we're in a global pandemic, and I'm sorry. I understand people's personal freedoms, and we shouldn't do anything that, encumbers them from doing that. But I think that most of these restaurants and things would want to keep going at the way they're going at this point, because they also have a concern about legal ramifications. A friend of mine went to the barber shop the other day, and they made them sign, "I will not sue."
I doubt if that would hold up in court.
Well, it depends on. I'm not a lawyer, and nor am I a judge. I'm just saying this happened. Plus, they charge a $3 COVID-19 fee, which I understand a lot of restaurants are charging $4 or $5 COVID-19 fees. So,
is that entitled to you to a free drink, or what does that cover? I don't understand that.
So, other than that one thing we might think about, I support 100% phase two, and that's only till June 5th, right? So it's only till a week from Friday.
Bill, what do you think?
Well, I'm trying to figure out where Eric's coming from. I know the restaurants are at 50%, but we all know it's about 85 to 90% open to what it was. I mean, they're doing some stuff, but it's pretty much. So I don't see what they're sacrificing. The churches might be sacrificed a little bit, but if that's the case, have a couple more services, Where are you coming from, Eric, as far as you're wanting to take control and take it away from the health side of this?
I'm not on the public health aspect of it. But there don't seem, I think this is where the legislature stepped in. It don't seem like there's a representative of the people that have had their business hurt. Where's their recourse? I mean, there's no one giving economic forecasts to a panel that's making these decisions. The decisions are only coming from the health aspect. So if you're only coming from the health aspect, what's the difference between having the health department declaring driving and people getting in a wreck and being killed as being a pandemic? And so they would issue that we can't go over 30 miles an hour. To me, that would be something similar. I mean, there's rules in place, seatbelt laws and traffic laws, but there could be, the local health department could put in more regulations, and because somebody going to work may die in a car wreck, innocent people, and they were absolutely following all the rules. So when it comes to this, I don't agree with the system of making the decisions. I think there probably should be the county commissioners that are making the decision, and they're with the support of the health officer as a supplying information, and they should also be looking for after the people that are having their private businesses closed, their right to assemble taken away. There's a lot of rights being taken away on this. I agree with the original order, but when the order becomes these reoccurring lengthening it out without any more any input from like the economic status of the county, I just can't agree with it.
That's basically what we're doing here today. We're talking.
Eric, we had a chance to, we would have had a chance to give input, but we chose not to vote on the order. We chose not to do that. That meant that we gave up our right to give input. And that was a wrong decision as far as I'm concerned. And it really came from your perspective, and I'm not disagreeing or agreeing or fighting about your perception, but I got to tell you, this is a global pandemic, and if you compare 30-mile speed limits and those type of things, you're taking an apple and you're taking an orange and you're trying to see the similarities. And I just
we had H1N1 years ago, and we had no shutdown. We had SARS. We've had numerous pandemics, and we had no shutdown orders. And now, as we find out more and more about this, we're finding out that it isn't near as lethal as what we thought it was to begin with. All of the initial guesses about what the pandemic was going to be have been wrong on one side and the other. And now that we're finding out more and more about the lethality of the pandemic.
So where are you getting your information from, Eric? I haven't heard this information. Where are you getting your information?
I read
is lethal and that type of thing. Fox News or Coffee Club?
I read a lot of the internet. But from different sources. I'm talking about news organizations, not chat rooms.
I think it's important to note that Kansas has, I mean, we've lost 95,000 lives to this. Over 95,000. We're like almost 96,000. So it's not a simple H1N1. It's not. No, it's not as deadly as they predicted in the beginning, but is that because of the steps that we were taking and that we took? I mean, hindsight's always 20/20, but if you just
and I originally said I agreed with the initial steps because we did not know what was coming. We didn't know anything about this, because it was totally new. As we find out more and more, states like Florida, who didn't even have a total shutdown but protected, just segments like the elderly population, the prisoners. They took steps to target communities and keep them safe, have done just as well as or better than states like New York, who ended up ordering COVID patients into nursing homes. So there have been a lot more lethal in states that's had total shutdowns.
Aren't we talking about Atchison County here? Are we really talking?
Yes,
about
but we have to talk about what we know about the disease, and that encumbers more than just Atchison County.
I don't think we know anything about Florida. I don't think you, unless you've heard it on some news media, you don't know anything about Florida. And
I think that we're still learning. We're still learning about this. I mean, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what they're going to find out tomorrow. I do local health department with everyone in the state of Kansas every day, and every day something changes. We still don't know everything there is to know about this disease, and I am not comfortable saying it's okay just to go and do whatever you want to do. And I mean, people are going to, but I don't want that on my back.
I agree. In the emergency management world, we have 2 conference calls every day, and we're learning new things every day. You have other states around us that did not do what Kansas did, and they have double the numbers of what Kansas does. Yes, that's not Atchison County, but those states that did nothing have double the numbers, double the deaths, double everything of what Kansas did. So I think the reason that you see Kansas having less numbers than other states around us is because of the precautions we took. And for us to open it up now, I think it's a mistake. I think we should follow the course and be cautious. And yes, we all want to get out and go live our lives and get back to normal, but why rush that? If we can wait another couple of weeks to a month to figure out correctly, why wouldn't we take that? Why wouldn't we follow that?
Well, I've never died before, so I really don't know what it feels like. I just don't think I want this feeling soon in my life. And I'm taking all the precautions necessary. And most citizens are. So most citizens aren't out getting wild and crazy. So I would say we stay with phase. I would like us to stay with phase 2. I did mention the bars. That's another decision. So that's on June 5th, and then we can move on from there.
So do you want to adopt the Ad Asper plan as the county resolution? The main question that we would have here.
That's what I'd like to do.
Okay, phase 2 of the state of Kansas Ad Asper plan as our county resolution today, and then on the 5th, we would readdress and move forward. Is that a consensus?
That's what I think. Bill's saying yes. Eric's saying
no.
Eric's saying no. So.
Well, I know I'm getting an email about every other day from Wes. We're up to 15, we're up to 16, we're up to 18, we're up to 19, we're up to 21. I think we should stay the course until we discontinue getting numbers, and then maybe then take it off. It may not have to go to June the 5th, but that just, that's not that far away either. But
correct.
I've always been told, whatever you do, always put safety first. Everything else follows safety. Always keep safety your top priority. And like I said earlier, the restaurants, yeah, they've hurt. They've taken some business. But we all know, as much as we're looking into our computers, they're pretty much back to 80 to 90% being open. I mean, they're kind of watching it a little bit, but financially, I don't think they're struggling. You do, Eric?
Yes. There's businesses that are not going to reopen because of all of this. The longer it goes,
I know. But what kind of shape was they in before this hit? They was about broke then.
Well, that's true, but they all, and some of them, but it's the last nail in the coffin. And the longer it goes, the fewer businesses will reopen.
So what businesses do you think are actually closed at this point? Because there are none. There are no businesses that are closed at this point.
There are businesses that are not reopening because of what's happened.
The Muskota Mercantile isn't reopened. I don't know of any other.
Yeah, they're all open with the exception of those two bars, but that was the governor's plan. Bars and nightclubs are still closed. That wasn't us. But we can.
Right.
So do we call for, do we need to write up, repeat the ad astra, or do we just have a resolution to follow that phase 2 till June 5th?
You'd need to have a resolution prepared, and obviously we're not going to have one today. I don't know if you want to wait till next week or you want to get together. I mean, this.
Well, we wait till next week. The confusion is going to be terrible. Can we wait? Can we have a special meeting in 4 hours?
Is our order that we have out, our phase 2 order, our last one, does that expire tonight at midnight, Mr. Henderson?
No.
So theoretically, we could work on something else and have it done. Stay with this order?
That order remains in effect, yes.
But the governor's portion would expire.
Right.
So you would only have the portion that's remaining. So you would have if you're wanting the full order, I would say we need a special meeting.
Okay, well, I would accept a motion to adopt emergency order of local health officials 20-04 expiring June 5th.
I so move.
Do I have a second? I'll second it for discussion purposes. So I guess for discussion purposes, we just be adopting what's already in place.
Yeah, correct. Wes and Lori, or are you capable of, is there anything that needs to be majorly done to get this ready? Is this a Pat thing? How much work is this to get this ready for you in 4 hours?
This is already here, Eric. We already have it. Looking around it right in front of me.
Well, but Pat talked about 4 hours, having a meeting in 4 hours. So I'm going, where's that coming from?
I didn't say the 4 hours. I was wondering if you wanted to have a special meeting. Yeah, we could probably have a resolution prepared because it would mirror what's in the executive order, I think. So we could have that. Probably wouldn't need to be that late.
Okay, we have a question on we already have a motion and a second to adopt emergency order 2020-04, which is essentially what we've already have in place. It is what we have in place.
It is, but it's missing quite a bit because we only put in there where we were being more strict than the governor's order. So it's missing a lot of the governor's order. So it would actually be better if we were to retype the executive order and have a special meeting and have you approve that or adopt that.
Because my order is basically saying we're going to do everything that the governor has said, except we're going to be a little bit tighter here. And so at midnight tonight, everything that the governor said goes out the window. So it
goes out the window. It's up to local authorities.
True. I mean, I guess, I don't know. I'm not a legal eagle.
Yeah. So can we do that this evening?
Lori could just simply issue another order, and that doesn't require approval by the commission or by the Board of Health. She could do that. If you want to do belt and suspenders approach and have an order and a resolution, that could be done as well.
I do know the governor said that she wanted the county officials to be involved, and I would really like that as well.
I think that's what we should do.
What did the surrounding counties do? Does anybody know?
They're all having this exact conversation right now because a lot of them adopted the executive order 32 or 34, whatever her phase 2 was. And so they're all scrambling right now to figure something out before midnight.
Okay. So we have this local order that's on the table right now with a motion and a second to approve this. What you're saying is you'd like to make some adjustments to it, but it would not change. Is that right? It'd be the same. But there's not enough verbiage in it, is what you're saying, Louis?
Correct. There's not enough verbiage in her last order.
I mean, could they adopt the Ad Aspera plan and my plan? Then you would have, I don't know how that works, but that would be one way. Because that's the plan we were following all along.
So how long will it take to adjust this?
I think that we need to take an hour or so and adjust or grab the governor's plan and work it together with Lori's plan and represent it to the commission.
Do you think we should?
Are we going to hear from the public where we still have some of the governor's plan and our plan, that her plan no longer exists, so why do we have it?
Yeah, but her plan says the county should take over.
Mm-hmm. She highly recommends that the county officials follow her plan. That's her recommendation. I think that's I don't like politics, so but it's all falling back downhill. So now it's up to the locals.
Well, we have a motion and a second on the floor. So, I mean, I either could call for the vote or we could take a motion to table it till 6:30 or however long you think it's going to take. Unless I'm looking for you or Lori to answer that.
Pat, if we had her last order and my order, how long would it take you to get those combined?
I don't know. We'll work on it together. Chairman Bauer, I think it may create some confusion if you adopt the present order without taking into consideration the things that previously were in the governor's order but will not be after tonight. So I think it's probably the better practice to do as Wes suggested and let us try to make a resolution for you that you could consider even later this evening.
¿Qué tiempo? What time? Be realistic.
7 o'clock?
7 o'clock? Okay, so we need another meeting for 7 o'clock, unless we want to recess till 7 o'clock.
Yeah, you could do either. If you recess, recessing is probably easier because if you have a special meeting, then they have to go through the process of emailing out the notices to everyone. And I don't know who usually does that, if it's Michelle, but if you just keep this same meeting, then you don't have to go through that.
Bill, do you want to rescind your motion? Bill?
I didn't catch what you said, Jack.
Do you want to rescind your motion?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll be back here. So for the public, we'll be going to recess until 7 o'clock Central Standard Time. It's about 2.5 hours from now to discuss this further.
Okay.
On board? Okay. I'll see you guys at 7 o'clock.
Thank you.
Okay.
Wes, do you want to?
Oh, for body.
I'll start.
Okay.
So, Mr. Henderson emailed all 3 of you the health order. We called it order phase 2.5 because we did open up the bars in this phase. We did set it to expire instead of on the 5th, which is a Friday. We set it to expire on the commission day, so June 9th. So that way, if we ever have to make any changes or add to It'll be on the 9th, and we won't hold a special meeting for it.
Yeah.
So the plan mirrors phase 2 of the governor's plan almost exactly, with a few of our added restrictions that we already had on the current plan that is in place that this order would rescind. And that'll go effective to June 9th at 11:59 p.m. And then Pat also emailed the commission a resolution of not adopting, I don't remember what Pat, what did it say?
Well, I'm not sure what the exact language of confirming the emergency order.
So every business in our community or in our county at this point with this order should be open. There should be no business that is still closed. There are restrictions of 15 people per 1,000 square feet for residential, 50% capacity for restaurants and for the theaters. Pools are still closed per the governor, except for emergency responder training and physical therapy. But everything else is open and able to conduct business.
Were the rules spelled out for the bars, or they just lumped in there? Yes.
The bars have to meet 6-foot social distancing. And let me look real fast. I can't remember off the top of my head.
So this didn't necessarily follow the governor's previous order, because bars were prohibited at that time, weren't they?
Correct, but the commission requested earlier that we open them up, and they should have been opened. So we're good with them being open. They're not a large venue. They don't have a lot of people. They still will have to meet the 50% occupancy though, just like restaurants do for the phase 2.5. But everyone should be open. There shouldn't be any businesses that are still closed in our county.
That I can accept. Sorry.
I didn't hear what you said.
I said that I think I can accept that if we're having any businesses closed.
They still have the rules to follow.
They'll have the
Yes,
rules.
I never did say there wouldn't be rules or I wanted there to be social distancing and stuff, but I didn't know how much I wanted to make it mandatory, but make it a suggestion or a recommendation.
So
Like
bars are under section 3, letter C. They're in the same category as restaurants. So restaurants and bars may open to dine-in service, no more than 50% occupancy. Customers should be seated in cohorts, no more than 10 at a table, and they must be 6 foot socially distanced.
How big a table would it take to have 10 people at?
That would be, that'd be a big table. Yeah. That'd be a big table. Yeah, so this would take effect tomorrow morning at 12:01 a.m. and be in effect till January 9th at 11:59. And I realize you guys did not have very much time to read through this because it was a struggle to get it all done and put together before the 7 o'clock meeting. We did put golf courses in there under recreational facilities. Some people questioned whether golf courses were open or closed, and they should have been open because it's an outdoor activity. So we did list them in there so people understood that they were open. The only thing closed at this point is outdoor large entertainment venues with a capacity of 250 or more, fairs, festival, carnivals, parades, and swimming pools other than backyard pools or the pools that are used for physical therapy or first responder training and summer camps. That was all per the governor's Ad Astra plan.
I think I get really excited about what you guys put together. Any commissioners have any questions or comments?
I'm still reading.
Lonnie, you have any comments?
Not so far.
Well, I'm talking to Bonnie, not you. But
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear. Sorry about that. No, I'm not funny.
No, Pat, I was just gonna ask a question. It looks like we just have an accidental enter on the order that put something to a new line that should have been on the previous, and I didn't know if we needed to edit that. I missed it.
I think I caught that. I think I caught that just now. So
With
I
the symbols?
changed it.
Okay.
Yeah, let me send the new one.
I just noticed it now. I missed it earlier. But I don't have any major comments. I think with things that happened on the state level, I think it was very clear that they do expect us on the local level to continue with kind of some restriction orders and that they're going to provide guidance, but that there needs to be guidance at this point. So, I mean, this isn't a lot different than what we are in right now. It's just a couple minor adjustments, which pertain to a couple places in our county that we hadn't gotten open yet, and that gets them back operating.
Okay. I kind of got read through the whole thing. I may have skipped it because I kind of speed read through it.
I've gotten through most of it.
Will the chair would entertain a motion to adopt a resolution confirming emergency health order of local health officers 2020-05, resolution number 2020-1468, to be in effect tonight at 12:01 and going till Tuesday, June 9th at 12 p.m.
Mr. Chairman, let's let Commissioner Knoll read through it when he gives us the sign that he's read it. Okay.
He's already read through it. So I have a motion.
I so move.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I assume you're ready to vote. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Passes 3-0. So you guys go out and get it communicated. I guess that's the best thing you can do. So.
Yeah, so we'll get it posted on the website like normal and emailed out to everybody and sent to social media.
I don't see the radio station on here tonight, so you might contact Brian.
I will make sure that they get it. So is the county interested in, or is the commission interested in switching to phase 3 like the governor wanted on the 9th? Is that where you see us going, or do you want to stop after this one?
I think we need to wait and see. Phase 3 may be appropriate. I think we got to decide when we get to that point.
Okay.
If we just all of a sudden you said there's 40 new cases, maybe we have a different point of view. But I would say what you're saying is probably correct. And I don't know whether the other commissioners feel the same way.
I want a review of what phase 3 held, because I was basically concentrating on what phase 2 held and not phase 3. What differences there would be, but I think you guys need more time to have an idea of where we're going. Of course, this was thrown in, everybody's, at the last second. So I was asking earlier whether you had time to put this together for a meeting tonight. That's the reason I was asking, because I know how much work this takes. So I appreciate all the work on it. I would consider phase 3, but I think we need time to kind of reflect on where this is going.
I would agree. I think we need to see how, what our numbers are like and what our cases are like. Are they community spread? I think there's a lot of factors that would go into it, no matter what we decide to do.
Okay, so I'm going to call for the vote.
Thank you, guys.
I'll call for the vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye. Didn't we vote?
Did we vote? Did we really?
I thought we did.
I'm losing my mind. We voted twice. So I've got one more thing on the agenda. Donna Oswald sent us, all of us, an email. She wants to buy a Ricoh printer. I think Wes has worked with her on that.
It's a copier.
Copier, I'm sorry, copier. Is this kind of what we're headed at, Wes?
So we replaced most of the county copiers at the end of last year, with the exception of the county attorneys, the courts, and the extension offices, because they couldn't afford to do so. So the county attorney and the extension office plan to replace theirs this year. Of course, Donna is first and the one being able to do so. Sherry is still looking at her budget and her other funds that she has available. So yes, we need to do this before December 31st of this year because that machine is no longer serviceable at that point. And it's got a problem. When they turn it on, it sounds like the motor inside is about to explode. So it's kind of a rush for the courts because the machine is about to have a problem.
So I have a purchase order for Ricoh in Overland Park, Kansas, for a Ricoh 4055 copier for $4,551.
Jack?
Yes.
Bill had a question.
Okay.
The email that I got from her, she does not want that Ricoh 45514 4-door. She wants a 2-drawer copier or 2-paper copier. And she wanted to know by tonight so she can save $250 is what my email said.
So this purchase order is for that copier, Bill.
Yeah.
The 4055 is the copier she
Oh,
wants.
I thought that was a purchase order from Wes. That's the one she's wanting, the 2-door, 2-paper? That's your purchase order.
That's her
Correct?
purchase. No, it's not Wes's, it's Don's. This purchase order is from Don in the district court.
Yes.
So the chair will entertain a motion to approve the purchase order for $4,551.
I'll move that we purchase the copier.
Do I get a second? Bill seconds it. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Passes 3-0. So I'll get that purchase order over to him. So, okay.
You need to let her know because she wanted to know tonight something about a $250 rebate on it or something.
I'm going to let her know so I get off this.
Okay.
Okay. Wes, you have something else?
I'm actually the one that orders it. So
I will send you and her a copy. Okay.
I'll get it submitted tonight so we still get the rebate.
Okay. Okay. So I guess we'll see you next week. Same bat time, same bat place, whatever they say. So thanks a lot for all your work, everybody. I'll see you next week.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.